We are back with more Nemo Nation, live from RadioNemo.com, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and more. Jimmy, take it away.
Hey, by the way, I'm sitting, of course, with a man who was introduced to Korea by a little naked boy peeing on the side of the road. Our good friend
Dave. You remember that story?
Of course I remember that story, and at some point we'll actually tell it on the air. I want you guys to think about this. Hashtag Truck N, as in the letter N, Hustle. Hashtag Truck N Hustle Podcast. It is one of the leading podcasts and platforms for transportation, logistics, and supply chain professionals. It's hosted by Rahmel Wattley. The show dives deep into the stories of entrepreneurs, trucking experts, and industry leaders, providing valuable insights, strategies, and inspiration. Whether you're a trucker, a small fleet owner, a freight broker, or an aspiring business owner, Truck and Hustle delivers practical knowledge to help you scale, grow, and thrive in the transportation industry. We like to think that we have a kindred spirit here, Dave. Real conversations, real people, real hustle. Truck and Hustle. Hey, man, good morning. Welcome to your first and hopefully not your last Nemo Nation. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning, sir. Good morning. That was an amazing introduction. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Rahmel, this is Dave. Good morning and welcome. Really interested in hearing your perspective on things. You know, we were talking about the difference between media. I'm going to say media now as opposed to radio or broadcasting. But when I got into broadcasting, it was a completely different relationship between, say, the person behind the microphone and the audience. But a lot of those barriers have been broken down, and you guys have really kind of got a more realistic approach, I think, to things, and a more widespread thing. I listened to the podcast you did with David Pickerel with GigSafe, and I thought that was a pretty good example of how widespread Truck and Hustle is, because you're covering all the bases. Kind of maybe pull a couple of things out that you're really proud of in terms of what you've brought to the industry through the podcasts.
Yeah, sure, Dave. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. I'm honored to be here this morning, and thank you for pointing that out. And yeah, there is I guess what you call like new media, the traditional media outlets. When I kind of came into the industry in terms of in the media space, they were really talking about a lot of high level data and trends and things of that nature. And what Truck and Hustle, what we strive to do is really be storytellers and really tell the stories of the individuals who are kind of on the ground, the people who are getting the work done day to day. We wanted to highlight, blue collar workers. We wanted to highlight individuals all throughout the supply chain, and just, make people aware of all the opportunities that are here, via entrepreneurship, and just make people aware of just this vast industry that we're all a part of. It just doesn't stop at the truck or the trucker. There's other aspects to that, and we just want to, show everybody that, and we just try to do that through telling people stories, and that's what we've done, since 2019 when we started the podcast. And like you said, we want to just give different vantage points all over the supply chain, and just, just tell people, just show people, man, through actual real stories of what's happening in the world.
You basically, in a sense, and I'm going to put this in one sentence and then you kind of tear it apart. Rahmel Wattley is with us, and of course he heads up truckandhustle.com, truck, and then the letter N, truckandhustle.com. And one of the things you've done is broke down the stereotypes, because when I got into the trucking radio field back in 1972, over 50 years ago, Rahmel, everybody was stereotyped. Teachers were teachers, lawyers were lawyers, doctors were doctors, and truck drivers were truck drivers, and they were all the same, or whether they were from California or Miami or New York. And we were able to see beyond that in that way, but it was so structured at that time. And the unstructured world that we live in now in terms of media, where everybody has their own pipeline into what we're doing. How many pipelines do we have right here that folks are listening right now?
We're on. I mean, we're live on 5 platforms now.
Yeah, exactly, with more to come.
So
you've really broken down a lot of the stereotypes, and I think that really opens up the industry to a lot of people who might not want to get into trucking because they think all truck drivers are the same, and that's not me. And then they find out that, no, there is a me in there.
There's a me out there for everybody, right?
Yeah, no, you guys are 100% on point, man. This industry is extremely, extremely diverse. I've been in the industry since the early 2000s. I've been in it 20 plus years. I started out getting a CDL, quickly learned that driving a truck wasn't for me. So I got into operations, working for a small mom and pop company. And actually, one of the first things that I realized was the diversity, and also just the fact that the stereotypical person that's in the industry, because I never thought I'd be in the trucking industry at all. It never was even on my mind. I didn't have any family members or any friends who were in the industry at all. But once I got into the industry, I realized that, people in this industry come from all walks of life, including the driver. I was just on a podcast the other day, and I knew a guy who was previously a doctor, who ended up, being a truck driver, right? Because he just wanted a change, and he wanted the freedom of the road, and he just wanted something different. So you'll find that there's a diverse group of people, a diverse group of ethnicities, a diverse group of people from different career paths and so forth. And, this industry is truly like the backbone of just the economy in the world, and it just gives you an idea of what the world really looks like.
Let me just kind of give you a sense, too, about how we're in this we're in this postmodern, and I'm using a fancy pants term there, but we're in this kind of wonderful continuum, because our good friend Joe J on YouTube wrote, we were talking about smells earlier, the smells of our childhood.
Wait. Rahmel, think about a smell from your childhood while Jim's talking.
And you'll get where you get where we're coming from here. Joe writes, I grew up on a farm in the 80s. Hay baling season smell will stick with me forever. And, Dave and I have talked about this, Rahmel, the idea that, so many of the older generation of truck drivers came either from the military, the farm, or actually had a truck driving parent. Sometimes, in the case of our contributor, Kevin Lindsay, all three. Mm-hmm. It's changed a great deal since then, and what you've kind of done with this podcast, it's a mosaic. I mean, the thing is that each individual podcast by itself is wonderful, informative, and gives us a niche, but you're kind of building this really diverse picture of all the people that are contributing to the sector. And we wanted to spend the first time we get a chance to talk to you, rather than our traditional thing of ask you what's going on, we wanted to kind of find out more about you. So we go back to the question that Dave asked. Give us a little smell from your childhood that still sticks with you.
Man, that's interesting. So there's a couple different smells. So I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and then I moved to the suburbs in central New Jersey as a young kid. So when I think of my childhood, I really think of just like outside, man. Like when we were kids, we would just ride bikes. We would play basketball. We would just be all over the place. So I think of like the smell of like grass, and I think of like the smell of just like the outdoors and other kids, right? Just that smell of just being active and being busy.
Wow.
And that's kind of what comes to mind as soon as you kind of say that. Just the smell of activity, being busy, and just fun, and just like the grass and the greenery, and just enjoying life, man. That's what childhood smells like.
If you grew up in Brooklyn, I keep thinking about the fact that I got a chance to go back there recently. I'm not from there, despite my accent. I have a deep-fried Brooklyn accent. It's a New Orleanian accent. But one of the things I remember, too, was, as I walked past some of the baseball fields at Prospect Park and got a chance to kind of go through there, I kept thinking about the fact you said the smell of other kids. Is there anything more Little League than the smell of fresh cut grass and the smell of BO from 11-year-olds, man? It's like
little boys and dogs, they smell the same when they come inside.
Yeah, it's the absolute truth. Absolute truth.
That's it. And as soon as you said that to me, I laughed, because like that's the first, typically someone would go to maybe food or something like that, but I'm like, no, it's like the kids, just everybody just around and being just sweating, and that's just the smell of my childhood, for real.
We could go on forever, so I'm going to throw in one more, because you really brought this out, Rahmel. When I was a little boy, I lived in Mississippi in grammar school years, and we lived out towards the country. So we would ride our bikes all day long and night long in the summer, and every time it started to rain, I would love the smell of that rain on the country road. And I was told later that what I was smelling was the dust. So my favorite smell is dirt. I'm smelling the dirt. But that's that smell from that first little bit of rain that would kind of excite that dust on the road.
Oh, yeah. And the smell of gasoline, for me, from the smell of go-karts.
Your wife loves the smell of gasoline.
God. You're bringing up so many good points. Yep.
All right. We've only got...
Go
ahead.
Yeah,
no, you got it. You got it.
No, no, I was going to say that today, the smell of rain, that's probably my favorite smell today. I love the smell of rain, especially with this hot weather we've been having, man.
Yeah.
You smell that rain coming. It's like, oh, man, the rain is here. I love it. So,
All right, okay.
But go ahead, guys. We don't want to belabor this topic.
All right, I'll belabor it all day long, man. That's the smell of trucking right there. We've only got about a minute left with you. We're going to have you back. Promise us you're going to come back on a regular basis because we love your company.
100%, I would love to. I'd be honored to. I'd love to sit down and talk with you guys as long as you'd have me.
And
Okay.
we'll get into some stuff.
Really quickly, is there anything in the industry this week that you're taking a really long, hard, close look at? Anything that's on your radar that you're going to be talking about over the next couple of weeks?
I mean, we typically talk to entrepreneurs and we're talking about different stories and we're really covering businesses. But just obviously with the geopolitical situation that's going on right now, obviously that's something to really take a look at and how it's going to just impact small businesses. You know, obviously fuel prices are going to spike, insurance prices are already high, and the small business trucker, transportation companies are suffering already, and they're going to continue to suffer. And, we're just hoping that this thing kind of pans out as soon as it possibly can because it's tough already. And, these type of situations just really hit home, for everybody. So that's really what we're kind of focusing on, and we're just praying that everything kind of works itself out.
Truckandhustle.com. Rahmel Wattley has joined us this morning. We're going to get you back on sooner rather than later. Go have the best of days and go make some great content as well, sir.
Dave, Jimmy, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.